Good morning, everyone. Well, today we're having a little bit of a different subject than some of the ones in the past. We're going to talk about 3D printers. Now, I know a lot of people out there do box openings, show how to put the printers together, which I think is great because I've used these videos in the past to help me with a lot of things. Now, I do a lot of printing, lots of printing. These are the two printers I have, plus one more. This is an Ender 3. It's printed hundreds of prints on it. This is my CR10. I printed hundreds of prints with that. There are some of the prints I've done. In fact, I've run out of space and I've had to pack a bunch of stuff up in boxes. I've printed all difficulty ones, some that lots of pieces like this dinosaur, my tank, then simple ones like the vampires there, my army soldiers, some Star Wars. I just like a variety of different prints. Don't look at the painting, I'm a terrible painter. But I have a little bit of experience with 3D printing. And that's what the subject is. Now, I'm one that does not want to have to fight when I print. And anybody who does 3D printing knows that you are going to end up having to put some time in making adjustments and stuff like that on your printer. It's just part of the nature of the game. These low-end printers, and I say they're low-end, but they're, when I bought them, they were a lot cheaper. They've gone up quite a bit since I bought these two because they're close to 3-4 years old, or at least I know the CR10 is 3 years old, and the Ender 3 is probably 2 years old minimum, and they've had hundreds of prints run through them. I don't want to bore you and show you everything I printed. Well, I had a relative ask me to recommend a printer for her husband. I did a little research, and what I did was I thought the Ender 3 has been good, the CR10 has been good and easy. Creality has come out with one that is a mixture of both. So I recommended it. And I felt so positive about it that I told her if it didn't work, I would buy it from her so she would not be out of pocket anything. He got it last Christmas. I was over there Christmas Day. We put it together. We got it out. We started printing on it. Excuse me. Printed the little ship and the dog to make sure it was calibrated right. There were some things about I did not like about it, and I was regretting it already. But we got it printed. He carried it upstairs, and it never printed again. It just was a nightmare. So I brought it home about 6 months ago, and I have been trying to print with it. I couldn't get, and what I'm talking about is the Ender 3 Max. It has a large build plate, and when it said Ender 3 on it, I thought, well, hey, this would be a great little printer. I'll give it a try. So we started out, and I got it home. I could not get the surfaces to adhere to it. Now, I started out with the glue sticks, have had real good success with them. They work great. That didn't really make it any difference at all. So I went with the high dollar stuff there, and that's $20 a tube for anybody who doesn't. And it works. It works real good. I've had good success with it. There's the brand name of it. If you have difficult printing. So like everything else, when I wasn't having success, I decided, well, I'll just quit, come back. I stopped a little while, a month, come back, try it again, still no success. And when you have to spend 2 hours to get things set up, 3D printing becomes frustrating. Now, I'm retired. I have the time to kill. But the gentleman that had the 3D printer for him, he did not have that kind of time. He worked. And for him to have to mess with it for 2 hours just to get it to print, when he couldn't get it to print, I can see the frustration. This is a frustrating hobby, and I urge anybody who does it to be prepared. I've never used any real expensive printers, the $800, $900, $1,000 ones. All of mine have been $200 to $390. But if you can't print on a reasonably regular basis, it becomes no fun. This is my problem with this Ender 3 Max. It is a terrible printer. If you are a beginner, run from this printer. Don't touch it. Find something else, because this thing is too much trouble to get to print. Now, I couldn't get the surface to stick, so I broke down and I bought one of these magnetic plates put on. They work great. Still have a hard time getting it to stick. I don't know what's going on. So I messed with it, and these are the things that I see wrong with this Ender 3 Max. One, if you'll notice right here, this thing moves up and down real easy. There's no threaded rod, but there's long space. It works okay on the Ender 3, but on this Max, that's too far off. And that arm changes position as it goes up and down. I tried adjusting this nut here to tighten it up, but that doesn't make a bit of difference. Next thing I've noticed that I did not notice on it was, if you will look right there, maybe this will focus on it, this tube just shoves in to this body here, where most of them have a thread fitting that you shove into, and then that shoves into, threads into the fitting. This does not. Excuse me. I've noticed that it goes up and loosens easily, and sometimes it's very difficult to get that tube out of there. Still using the old tubing that came with it, and I've used that for a long time on different printers, so it doesn't work. Another thing I noticed, and I've yet to figure out how to adjust it, the bed will run all the way out, stop, but the motor will keep running, and you hear the belt slipping. It has done it so many times, and I've adjusted everything I can. It's starting to break the teeth off the belt, so that's going to be the next thing that gives out. It is really frustrating, and for somebody who is trying to get into 3D printing, I don't recommend it, because it's going to be too much work for you to be happy with it. So if you're thinking about buying a printer, I would avoid this particular one. I don't think it's any good. In fact, Ender, or I should say Creality, has really changed it. They've upgraded it. They have put an additional servo on this arm here, thread rod, like you have on your CR10. They've improved that fitting up there on the top. They have changed the bed a little bit around. They have revamped this right here a lot and made it better, I think. I don't have one, so I don't know. But if you're a beginner printer, you want to buy a 3D printer, run from this thing. Don't spend your money on it. Don't waste your time with it. It is a nightmare to use. If you buy it off of Amazon, I think you have 30 days to return it. If you mess with it every day for 25 days, I feel like you will want to return it back to where it came from. And Amazon gets stuck with this junk. So, you know, it's too expensive today, and to have to frustrate yourself printing. Now, yesterday, I was able to get it to print a little bit, and I was able to print this body out right here. Now, let's see if I can zoom this thing in right here. That's too thin. Your first layer is really too thin, and that's how close I had to get the nozzle down to the bed to get it to adhere to the surface. And you have to be real careful with these type of plates here, because if that nozzle scrapes across it just a little bit, it becomes junk. You get a scratch in it and the filament will not go through it very well. So, hey, it's up to you. I'm just trying to warn you. I do not think this is a good printer. The other Creality printers that I have worked fine. They require some assistance. Sometimes you get frustrated. These are getting old, and I don't know at what point they just start wearing out and nothing wants to work. But as of right now, they still print, they still get the job done. So if you're thinking about buying a printer, please think real hard and don't buy the Creality Ender 3 Max. The newer version, look at it closely. It has been fixed, and a lot of the problems, I think, have been rendered. But it's an additional $100 more than this one was. So anyway, I want to end it right there with that, and hope you have a great day. Bye.